boys and girls. I'm Nana Rose. Today's story is called Flossie and the Fox. This is by Patricia C. McKissick, and the pictures are by Rachel Isadora. Flossie and the Fox. The author says, "To my grandfather," and the illustrator says, "For my Uncle Charlie." And right here there's an author's note. It's always interesting to me to read an author's note and see who they had in mind or what was going on when they decided to write this story. So let's see what Patricia McKissick says. Long before I became a writer, I was a listener. On hot summer evenings, our family sat on the porch and listened to my grandmother tell a hair-raising ghost story, or watched my mother dramatize a Dunbar poem. But it was always a special treat when my grandfather took the stage. He was a master storyteller who charmed his audience with humorous stories told in the rich and colorful dialect of the rural South. I never wanted to forget them. So it is through me that my family's storytelling legacy lives on. Here is a story from my youth, retold in the same rich and colorful language that was my grandfather's. He began all his yarns with a question. "Did I ever tell you about the time little Flossie Finley came out the piney woods heeling a fox?" I'd snuggle up beside him in the big porch swing, and then he'd begin his tale. "Flossie!" The sound of Big Mama's voice floated past the cabins in Sophie's quarters, round the smokehouse, beyond the chicken coop, all the way down to Flossie Finley. Flossie tucked away her straw doll in a hollow log, then hurried to answer her grandmother's call. "Here I am, Big Mama," Flossie said after catching her breath. It was hot, hotter than a usual Tennessee August day. Big Mama stopped sorting peaches and wiped her hands and face with her apron. "Take these to Miss Viola over at the McCutcheon place," she said, reaching behind her and handing Flossie a basket of fresh eggs. "Seem like they been troubled by a fox. Miss Viola's chickens be so scared they can't even now lay a stone." Big Mama clicked her teeth and shook her head. See if you can do that. Can you click your teeth? You shake your head at the same time? Or maybe she did it real slow and only a couple of times for emphasis. "Why come Mr. J.W. can't catch that fox with his dogs?" Flossie asked, putting a peach in her apron pocket to eat later. "Every time they corner that old slickster, he gets away. I tell you, that fox is one sly critter." "How do a fox look?" Flossie asked. "I disremember ever seeing one." Big Mama had to think a bit. "Child, a fox be just a fox. But one thing for sure, that rascal love eggs. He'll do most anything to get at some eggs." Flossie tucked the basket under her arm and started on her way. "Don't tarry now," Big Mama called, "and be particular about them eggs." "Yes'm," Flossie answered. The way through the woods was shorter and cooler than the road route under the open sun. "What if I come upon a fox?" thought Flossie. "Oh well, a fox be just a fox. That ain't so scary." at the eyes on the fox. You ever heard the phrase, sly as a fox? They're supposed to be sneaky and tricky. But I think the author, the illustrator already gave you an idea. Look at Flossie's eyes. She looks pretty sly to me. Trickster. Flossie commenced to skip along when she come upon a critter she couldn't recollect ever seeing. He was sitting inside the road like he was expecting somebody. Flossie skipped right up to him and nodded a greeting the way she'd been taught to do. "Top of the morning to you, little missy," the critter replied. "And what is your name?" "I be Flossie Finley," she answered with a proper curtsy. "I reckon I don't know who you be either." Slowly the animal circled round Flossie. "I am a fox," he announced, all the time eyeing the basket of eggs. He stopped in front of Flossie, smiled as best a fox can, and bowed. "At your service." I love how an illustrator can make eyes look different ways. I mean, look how sly and sneaky the picture is. How does an artist do that? I think that's so cool. Flossie rocked back on her heels, then up on her toes, back and forward, carefully studying the creature who was claiming to be a fox. "Nope," she said at last. "I just purely don't believe it." "You don't believe what?" Fox asked, looking away from the basket of eggs for the first time. "I don't believe you a fox, that's what." Fox's eyes flashed anger. Then he chuckled softly. "My dear child," he said, sounding right disgusted. "Of course I'm a fox. A little girl like you should be simply terrified of me. Whatever do they teach children these days?" Flossie tossed her head in the air. "Well, whatever you are, you sure think a heap of yourself," she said, and skipped away. Fox looked shocked. "Wait," he called. "You mean you're not frightened? Not just a bit?" Flossie stopped. Then she turned and said, "I ain't never seen a fox before, so why should I be scared of you? And I don't even know now you a real fox for a fact." Fox pulled himself tall. He cleared his throat. "Are you saying I must offer proof that I am a fox before you'll be frightened of me?" "That's just what I'm saying." Little Flossie skipped on through the piney woods while that fox fella rushed away looking for whatever he needed to prove who he was really who he said he was. Meanwhile, Flossie stopped to rest beside a tree. Suddenly, Fox was beside her. "I have proof," he said. "See, I have thick, luxurious fur. Feel for yourself." Fox leaned over for Flossie to rub his back. "Feels like rabbit fur to me," she says to Fox. "Shucks, you ain't no fox. You a rabbit. All the time you trying to fool me." "Me? A rabbit?" he shouted. "I have you know, my reputation precedes me. I am the third generation of foxes who have outsmarted and outrun Mr. J.W. McCutcheon's fine hunting dogs. I have raided some of the best farmhouses from Franklin to Madison. Rabbit, indeed. I am a fox, and you will act accordingly." Flossie hopped to her feet. She put her free hand on her hip and patted her foot. "Unless you can show you a fox, I'll not accord you nothing." And without further ceremony, she skipped away. Down the road a piece, Flossie stopped by a bubbling spring. She knelt to get a drink of water. Fox came up to her and said, "I have a long, pointed nose." Now that should be proof enough. "Don't prove a thing to me." Flossie picked some wild flowers. "Come to think of it," she said, matter-of-fact-like, "rats get long pointed noses." She snapped her fingers. "That's it. You a rat trying to pass yourself off as a fox." That near about took Fox's breath away. "I beg your pardon," he gasped. "You can beg all you wanna," Flossie says, skipping on down the road. "That still don't make you no fox." "I'll teach you a thing or two, young lady," Fox called after her. "You just wait and see."